All right, let's start with the big story that's coming from Britain, where Brexit is increasingly looking like the last chance saloon. Theresa May's efforts to pass her deal have been rejected yet again, not once, not twice, but for a third time, and this time by a margin of about 58 votes. There is 354 votes against Theresa May's Brexit plan and 286 votes favouring it. Now, Theresa May has said that the implications are extremely grave. Yes, that is what it has now come down to. Remember, the 29th of March should have been the date that Britain would have exited from the European Union, deal or no deal. But despite 2.5 years of having bargained with the European Union, there is still no solution in sight.
The implications of the House's decision are grave. The legal default now is that the United Kingdom is due to leave the European Union on the 12th of April, in just 14 days' time. That is not enough time to agree, legislate for and ratify a deal, and yet the House has been clear it will not permit leaving without a deal. And so we will have to agree an alternative way forward.
So the question, of course, is what next for Theresa May? Now, the lawmakers will be debating an alternative plan sometime next week, but she has given little clue as to what these alternatives possibly could be. But Brexit has done one thing for sure, and that is to unite the centre, the left and also the right wings of British politics for pretty much the first time in almost about 6 decades. Now, Jeremy Corbyn, the leader of the Labour Party, and also Steve Baker, the deputy chair of pro-Brexit European Research Group, both want Theresa May to actually go. Jeremy Corbyn, the Labour leader, wants immediate general elections.
This government's Brexit negotiations have been a litany of failure, culminating in today with a Prime Minister who's been forced to announce her own departure, only tabling half the deal she has negotiated. This really is a half-baked Brexit. We need to get a better deal. The country deserves a better deal, and I'm convinced that a better deal can be negotiated. And if members decide, a chance for people to have a final say. If we cannot do that on Monday, then I ultimately, and many others would agree with me, say no alternative other than having a general election to decide who rules this country in the future.
All right, so the question, of course, is what next? Now, the European Union wants Britain to tell what it wants to do with Brexit before the 12th of April. The European Union chief negotiator, Michel Barnier, has made it amply clear that Theresa May's time to pass the withdrawal agreement has ended with yesterday's vote.
The European Council also decided that should there be no majority for the withdrawal agreement by today, the UK should indicate a way forward before the 12th of April.
And immediately in the aftermath of the vote, pro-Brexiteers started protesting in London. Over 1,000 people started a march towards the Parliament. They were carrying placards seeking immediate exit from the European Union. They're essentially blaming Theresa May for having betrayed their leave vote in the referendum of 2016.
We were expecting to celebrate our independence as a sovereign nation today, not having to virtually start again from scratch. I feel very, very angry.
All I've seen now is a bunch of politicians sitting in Parliament doing what they want to do, ignoring everybody else, and I really feel like I've lost my trust in the politicians.
It has also sparked some creative government bashing as well. British street artist Banksy has devolved the Parliament in back display in Bristol Museum after a gap of almost about 10 years. Why is this significant? Because politicians in the House of Commons have been depicted with what you see on your screens as chimpanzees.
Well, considering it was painted 10 years ago, I find that it's become a lot more relevant to politics now, especially with Brexit going on. So I feel like this truly represents how I feel the government looks like at the moment.
I think the imagery is quite frightening because what's happening now politically in this country is frightening, and it's impacting on your nearest neighbours as well.
All right, so the pound sterling has fallen. It's a bit of a death knell for Theresa May's political future, and the next deadline is just about 12 days away. That is on the 12th of March. Britain has to convince 27 European Union member nations that there is possibly some kind of an alternative path. Otherwise, a no-deal Brexit could become inevitable if the Tories still want to press ahead with the Brexit. And this, of course, means that the House of Commons has to agree upon something, and they have to do it fast, and that is by the 12th of April. Now, if Britain seeks further extension, this will, of course, mean that they have to take part in the European Union elections in the month of May. And that could bring in some fresh uncertainty. A second referendum, snap elections, Brexit has just demonstrated the impact of a decision without a plan, without a purpose, without conviction, and without political will.